Hi guys, it's ASBYT and this video is going to be a little bit different to what you've seen before, but hopefully it's going to be really helpful if you are looking to possibly buy the Samsung Galaxy S20 Ultra. The review unit is in, so it's time to put it through its paces, and over the next 24 hours I'm going to be doing just that. I'm going to be using it as my daily driver, testing the gaming performance, the camera, the display, doing a drop test as well. But over said 24 hours, my test to Samsung is, can this 5000 mAh battery cell last the full 24 hours? Can it survive what I'm going to throw at it? Is the S20 Ultra the full dayer we've been waiting for? Let's find out. So first off, as you can see, it's coming up to 1:45. It's been taken off charge at midday, so it's got to last till 12 o'clock tomorrow, and it's on 93% already. The pressure's on. Now, firstly, the footage you're seeing now is shot on the front-facing camera from the Galaxy S20 Ultra, and I'm using the audio from it as well, so let me know how that sounds. I'm also using the live focus video as well, so it should have a blurred background. We've seen it before on previous Samsung devices, but hopefully the software looks a little bit better. So it looks a little bit shaky to me, but overall, it's doing a good job at edge detection. In terms of color tones, it looks a little bit warmer, a bit more like the iPhone. Maybe that's something they've tweaked as well. I'm shooting this in 4K at 30, but the maximum is 4K at 60 on the front camera, which is a nice addition. While we're on the front camera, here are a few selfie samples for you using that 40 megapixel lens. Apologies for my ugly mug. Now, if we flip to the rear camera, we now have the ability to shoot up to 8K, although there is a rather substantial crop and the footage looks a little bit stuttery with some possible drop frames. Samsung are talking about a software update to improve camera, so expect it to get better for sure. But again, right now I'll probably still be using 4K at 30 for the bulk of my video recording, so you can really take advantage of the stabilization, etc. Right, so the time is now just gone 1 o'clock and the battery is on 89%. We'll be coming back to camera performance very shortly, but it's time to go and do some script for another YouTube video. So hopefully we can chill out on the battery for a little bit, because this camera test has already taken up 10%. So a few additional details here. For this test, I have decided to set the display to 120 Hz refresh rate, as although dropping it to 60 Hz, which the phone is actually set to by default, would save battery, it would be taking away a key selling point from Samsung this year. So to get that liquid chocolate smoothness on the screen, we will no doubt see a hit in battery performance. Unfortunately, the resolution automatically drops to Full HD Plus from Quad HD Plus when the higher refresh rate is set, and I still wish Samsung allowed us to use both at the same time, but again, maybe this will come in a software update. Personally, if I have to choose between the two, I would always go with a higher refresh rate and a lower resolution. So the time is 2 o'clock and the battery is at 77%. Right, so scripting's done. I've now got to go out, and not to wrap my new Lamborghini like some YouTubers, not so glamorous. We're going to Co-op to go and get some baby food. Rock and roll, eh? While en route, it was time to take in the scenery on this beautiful spring day and also test out that camera some more. And again, I had mixed feelings. There were some things that I was incredibly impressed with and some things that left a little bit to be desired. For a start, with the help of the time of flight sensor, when live focus works, it's epic. Yes, it's still not quite as reliable with focus as the Pixel phones, but it can produce some mind-blowing shots. I then decided to test out the 12 megapixel ultra wide angle lens and then made an error of judgment in using the famous zoom capabilities, using that 48 megapixel periscope lens at the wrong time. Not a sight you want to see, and I'm sorry if you're eating whilst watching this video. This was using the 10 times hybrid optical zoom, but then I took it one stage further and tested out that ridiculous 100 times. And while on a windy day it was a little bit difficult to nail the shot, the fact that this is even possible on a phone is nothing short of redonkulous. And yes, that's a made up word. How much I will actually use this feature is another matter, but a brilliant option to have, no doubt. Now, another huge selling point of the Ultra is of course that 108 megapixel sensor, which is not actually set up to shoot by default. You have to manually choose it in the camera app. For day-to-day snaps, I probably wouldn't use it due to the huge file sizes, but for those of you who want to do a lot of editing in post or just want that extra bit of clarity and detail in your shots, you can really tell the difference, especially if you crop in. I also noticed the processing speed on the S20 Ultra is much quicker than the Mi Note 10, which also had a 108 megapixel sensor, so kudos Samsung for that. Stay a little bit later in the video for some London night shots. Now, quick reminder, IP68 water and dust resistant, and while we're here, dropping a like on the video just for the commitment to get that thumbnail would be greatly appreciated. Back home from the shop and the time is 3:30 and the battery is at 61%. Baby food sorted. Now it's time to test this puppy for gaming and media consumption. First off, the stereo speakers are epically loud and the display is nothing short of gorgeous. Yes, the punch hole camera cutout exists, but unless you want that pop-up camera or a slider, then in my opinion this is the best way until the under-display tech that's in development is retail ready. So battery is now at 55% and the time is 4 o'clock. We've been using it intensely over the last few hours, but the Ultra Ultra gets a bit of a break now as it's tea time for the kids and I'm the chef. Beans on toast? Stop it, just call me Gordon Ramsay. While the kids were eating, I decided to unbox the Galaxy Buds Plus, and a full review for those is coming soon as well. Right, so now it's time for a drop test, starting with one from my car. Apologies for how dirty it is. In the country, puddles everywhere, nightmare. The second one's going to be from a much higher height, but let's do the drop test from out of the car first. Whoa. Okay, so the leather case has taken a battering, but all in all, looks in good nick. The next test was much higher, and I was pretty nervous, to be honest. But thankfully, again, only minor scratches to the screen protector, and that was it. Even Dottie came over to check the results. I then helped put the kids to bed, and the next time I picked up my phone, it was time to transfer some files to my laptop. Now, whilst this was happening, the phone did actually take a few percentage of charge, so we will have to take that into account at the end. I then went out to meet a few friends in London city centre, and this is where I was able to test out that night mode and capture some great shots of the cityscape. Let me know what you think of these night mode shots. Is it the best night mode on a smartphone, do you think? Is it better than the latest from Huawei or Google Pixel? Comment below. So I got back to where I was staying and it was about 11:30 and the battery was 39%, and by 8:20 the next morning it was at 22%, and it was touch and go if the Ultra would last the 24 hours. By the time I posted a few bits of content on social media and continued with some scripting on my phone, the battery was at a critical 10% and the time was 10:36. Time, pun intended, was running out and I had fears we wouldn't make it to midday. 5% left with just over an hour to go, and after a few more social media checks, my fears were realised. At exactly 11:15, just after this screenshot was taken, we lost all contact with the S20 Ultra. Its battery was fried and the mission was over. Now yes, it didn't make it to the full 24 hours, even with that little pick-me-up of charge halfway through, but it still did a pretty decent job considering the variables such as the 120Hz display, etc. I don't feel currently the battery is game-changing, but it's certainly pretty decent. I'm hearing, as expected from across the pond, the Snapdragon variant appears to perform better for battery life, so it's certainly something to consider also depending on where in the world you are. Like and share the video if you enjoyed it, subscribe and hit the notification bell if you are new to the channel and love everything tech, news, unboxings, reviews. I love you and leave you. I'll see you in the next one. Say ASBYT, peace out.